We review the events of September 11th, 2001, and I asked the live chat where they were when all of that instantly happened. Senate Democrats block a bill to help get more relief back to the American people. Adam Schiff is going to try Russia once again, and we'll talk a little bit about the cuties fiasco and what the news has had to say about it. I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Good morning, folks, and welcome to Contemporary. My name is Jay Edgar. It is September 11th, so, of course, because it happened in most of our lifetimes at this point, we're going to talk about it a bit today and some of the things that came about with that here. But before we get started, head on over to freedomscoop.com. FreedomScoop.com is going to be your one-stop shop for all of your news and commentary needs. We carry the Daily Ignoramus, we carry my shows, we carry the Generational Gap with a new night, so go over there and check them out. We also carry the Breakdown with Birkenhoff, which will be on later on today, the R-Rated Conservative, and the Freckles and Brit Show. So come on over there, check us out, pick up some of our swag, and help us support great creators. All right, starting off with the stocks today. Looks like we had a little bit of a dive yesterday, down to 27,534 over 27,940.47, and we've got some market people that are very wary about this, saying that the next crash is coming. I'm not completely sure about that, but a lot of this will hinge around what happens with the election, the way the polls go, and how many people get back to work. I do apologize in advance for the rest of the show right now. I took the Zyrtec probably 25 minutes ago and it's starting to kick in, but I know I got that gravelly voice this morning here because I have been sneezing since the time I rolled out of bed this morning. But we see the dive here. Let's see what the investors have to say about this one. So, from Investors Business Daily, Dow Jones futures rise, riskier than a bear. Why the stock market is so dangerous. Peloton jumps on earnings, from Ed Carson. Dow Jones futures rose Friday morning along with S&P 500 futures and especially NASDAQ futures. The stock market rally opened strong on Thursday but closed sharply lower, a bearish sign. The NASDAQ hit resistance at its 21-day exponential moving average and closed below its 50-day line. Apple stock, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon or Advanced Micro Devices, Amazon, ServiceNow, Adobe, Nvidia, and Facebook closed below the key 21-day line. Meanwhile, Peloton, Chewy, and Oracle reported earnings late Thursday. Peloton stock jumped after the at-home workout leader delivered blowout results and bullish guidance. Chewy edged lower while Oracle rose after both beat views. Meanwhile, the clock is once again ticking for TikTok deal after reports that the U.S. might not require China's ByteDance to sell to the U.S. operations of the viral video site. President Trump said late that he won't extend his mid-September deadline. We'll either close up TikTok in this country for security reasons, or it will be sold. There's no extension of the TikTok deadline. Microsoft and Walmart have teamed up on a TikTok bid. Both Dow giants rose a fraction late. Oracle is another possible suitor. The stock market opened with strong gains, with the Nasdaq extending Wednesday's rebound from the 50-day line. But the index reversed lower after hitting the 21-day exponential moving average, which had acted as a support level during most of the current market rally. The major indices and leading stocks whipsawed back and forth during the session, with the Nasdaq closing just below its 50-day line again. Apple, Amazon, AMD, Adobe, ServiceNow, and Facebook all moved above their 21-day lines intraday, but reversed lower. Tesla stock also couldn't hold its 21-day line, but it did close modestly higher. Microsoft hit resistance at its 21-day line. Nvidia, which had closed above its 21-day on Wednesday, fell below that key level on Thursday. These stocks were all generally higher on morning. Danger zone for investors. Choppy markets are the most dangerous environment for growth investors in a clear market uptrend. Most stocks are going to rise in a correction or bear market. Investors can simply step to the side until conditions improve, but in volatile sideways markets, there are plenty of top stocks that look promising. There will be days or intradays when major indices are running and top stocks are flashing buy signals, but that means investors are going to be prone to buying near very short-term tops. Even if the overall trend is sideways, there's a strong chance that the new buys will be underwater, and we have been seeing sideways for a while. Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Adobe, ServiceNow, Nvidia, and Amazon stock are on the IBD leaderboard. Microsoft, Adobe, and ServiceNow are on the IBD long-term leaders. Amazon, AMD, Adobe, and ServiceNow, Nvidia, and Microsoft are on the IBD 50. On the futures, Dow futures rose 0.5% versus fair value. S&P 500 futures were slightly higher at 0.7% above fair value. Nasdaq 100 futures advanced a whole percent, but off morning highs. Keep in mind, overnight action in Dow futures, Peloton stock, and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular session. Dow futures predicted Thursday's solid open, but not the negative reversal. When the stock market volatility is higher, Dow Jones futures are prone to swings and are even less likely to predict the next regular trading action. So, watch your investments, watch your portfolios, and watch your retirements because we don't know what's going to happen over the next few days. All right. Stop auto-playing, goddammit. Let's keep going here from CNBC. Go away, advertisement. Dow closes 400 points lower as tech sell-off resumes from Fred Imbert and Jesse Pound. Stocks fell sharply in volatile trading on Thursday as the rout in tech, the best performing sector in the market, resumed after a one-day respite. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed 405.89 points lower, or 1.45% at 27,534.58. Earlier in the session, the Dow was up more than 200 points. The S&P 500 slid 1.8% to close at 3339.19. The Nasdaq Composite dropped 2% to 10,919.59 after surging as much as 1.4%. It was the fourth decline in 5 sessions for the major averages. Apple shares were down 3.3% after rising as much as 2.7%. Tesla, which was up more than 8% at one point, closed just 1.4% higher. Netflix and Microsoft were both lower along with Facebook and Amazon. Nvidia shares lost 3.2%. The S&P 500 tech sector dropped 2.3%. It's a tricky market, said Arian Vojdani, an investment strategist at MB Financial. You look up 1 second and the market's down, you look down the other second and you're back up. Investors would be remiss to try and trade on this right now, said Vojdani. Thursday's move followed a broad rally for the market on Wednesday with the S&P 500 posting its best day since June. The Nasdaq pulled itself out of correction territory as tech managed to claw back some of its recent steep losses. The S&P 500 tech sector fell 11.4% between the close of September 2nd, when the market hit an all-time high, and Tuesday. Over that time period, the S&P 500 dropped nearly 7%. Tech clawed back at some of its losses on Wednesday, posting its biggest one-day surge since April before the sell-off resumed on Thursday. So, it's down again. Now it's up, so this is going to be something to watch, especially as we go into an election where nobody knows what the hell is going to happen, and everybody keeps saying that this is going to be Biden and Harris's election. And we'll be talking a bit about some of the things that are happening there. So, let's start off briefly, just to set the stage, with an opinion piece from ABC News. America is under attack, reliving the Secret Service response on 9/11. Opinion. From Donald J. Mihalik. On the morning of September 11, 2001, White House Chief of Staff Andrew Card was faced with a historic decision. Should he inform President George W. Bush, who was speaking that morning at an elementary school in Florida, that a second plane had crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center? Card knew that America was in the middle of an emergency. He had to decide what to tell the president and how. But he didn't want to provoke a reaction or cause a response from the president. As he was sitting in front of the news cameras surrounded by elementary school children, Card decided that his message would be short and direct. He told the president, "A second plane has hit the second tower. America is under attack." So, I don't really want to go too far into this article. I just want to bring up the question for everybody who's watching this program right now. Where were you 19 years ago when all of this happened? I remember, and I'll tell you where I was. I won't tell you the city because I grew up in such a small town that I'll dox myself, but I was in high school. This is my senior year. It was homecoming week, so we did all the celebratory dressing up for things. It was pajama day. Most of the people around me were dressed in their pajamas, which after we went off to college would be what a lot of the people would be wearing as their regular attire, but that's another story. But yes, hundreds of people in my tiny high school sitting around glued to the TVs that were in every room, in their pajamas, watching the carnage go, watching the towers fall. They say that the terrorists came out to destroy America and that they couldn't destroy America. And yet, I look around us right now. I look back at the last 6 months of news that I've covered on this program. So we've been doing this since February. I look back at all of this and I wonder, did they destroy America? Is this the thing that set us in motion to get to the point that we are today? I know we talk about Harambe in the live chat on this show. We talk about that a lot. But just looking back for the first time in my life, and probably one of the last times in my life, I saw America truly united. The jokes were going around, the early wave email, internet. The early memes were running around, talking about turning the Middle East into glass. The ICQ chats were talking about the same thing. The shit posters were even silent for a little while. For a time, we were united. We knew what we had to do. And we even united behind a warmongering president who would not let a single crisis go to waste and found a way to get over into the Middle East and finish Daddy's war. I don't know what separated this country. I really don't. I look at some of the things. I look back at 9/11, at the fact that we were so united. And then I look now at the fact that a sitting congressperson can look back at the same event and with her own hatred for the nation of Israel and the Jews say, some people did something on camera, unashamed. We're coming up into an election where the country is more divided than ever at this point. We're so divided that when the president says that he wants to end the wars and get people back home, the people who used to say, end the wars, and we hate Bush because he put us into war, are begging us to stay in the Middle East for an eternity at this point. Because they don't want that particular president to get the win. I look back and I miss the fact that we were that united. That we were all going out and buying things, which turned out to be a commercial failure and probably what led us into the Great Recession that happened under Obama. Go out and buy a new car and some nice jewelry because otherwise the terrorists win. Well, sometimes I look back and I have to wonder, because of the recession, because of the division that came about because of it, because of what we did in the name of American commercialism, did the terrorists win? I was horrified by these images. I was just about to head to adulthood. I didn't know if moving out of the country was going to mean I was going to be subject to this. And I found out that I wasn't. Things went on. People rebuilt. People buried the dead. And we still memorialize this every single year. My call right now is to the American people. Can we find a way to be united again? The way that we were after 9/11 without seeing a major, massive event like this happen. I don't know if that call can be answered. I don't know if we can do it. But I hope that we can go back to being united the way that we were. United we stand, as George W. Bush said, and as many horrible things as George W. Bush did with this crisis. The fact that he could stand up every day and say, united we stand, was probably one of the best things that came out of his presidency. That's what I have to say on this. And now we've got a couple more things to go through on this. So, from Fox News, Derek Van Orden, this September 11th, Antifa is attacking us from within. President Lincoln had good advice. From Derek Van Orden. On September 11th, 2001, exactly 19 years ago, our nation was stunned by a series of brazen attacks by terrorists who wanted to see our way of life destroyed. I was a Navy SEAL chief stationed in California and was called by a friend who lived on the East Coast. My friend told me to turn on the TV and that we were under attack. When I did, I saw the World Trade Center buildings burning. I kissed my wife, told her to keep the kids home from school. I drove the SEAL teams to go to war to defend my family and our nation. When I got the teams, there were already snipers on the rooftops of our buildings. There was no panic, no angst, no uncertainty. There was an overwhelming sense that now is the time that we had trained for all these years. I already had 3 deployments as a SEAL under my belt, including 1 in combat, but for my SEALs, this would be the first time they were deployed. Throughout the day, we started getting ready for the business of war. We had the news constantly playing in the background. More planes were smashed into our country at the Pentagon and at the field at Shanksville, Pennsylvania. How could this have taken place? We thought we were so strong that nothing could harm us. It appeared that we had not been honest with ourselves about the state of our country. It appeared that we were being broken as a nation, that we were alone in the world and not united at home. And then September 12th dawned. The French newspaper Le Monde captured the real sentiment best, not only for our country, but for our world, with the beautifully written headline, Nous sommes tous Américains. We are all Americans. This gave us all pause to think. We had been bloodied, our fellow citizens had been killed by people who wanted to see our way of life replaced with one we had not chosen for ourselves and our children. We were presented with an incredibly challenging set of circumstances, the most troubling being uncertainty. But in that moment, we realized that we were not broken. We were galvanized as a people, and we understood that we would not be tested by the uncertainty that we were facing. We knew that we were united, and there's nothing we cannot accomplish as a nation. When we respect each other and honestly face our problems in good faith, we will prevail. On September 11, 2001, we were attacked from outside by a small group of people who wanted us to think that we were an unjust nation that was the cause of all the world's problems. The attackers thought we would not fight back for our freedom because we were a weak nation whose people were not united. Now our cities are burning, occupied, and under attack from Antifa, a small group that believes the same things that the 9/11 terrorists did. However, this time the attackers are Americans and have bought into a vision of America that is not true. Make no mistake about what I'm saying. These are not our enemies. They are our countrymen. However, peaceful protests are just that, peaceful. Those who riot must be held accountable, for the riots will never stop. We see day after day of unrest and uncertainty, the smoldering ruins of our cities, fellow citizens suffering acts of violence intended to divide us. The bad actors committing these crimes are trying to keep us off balance by overwhelming us with disturbing images so that we will lose sight of the truth. The left-wing news media are highly complicit. We have seen this before. The only thing that will stop this cycle is when we step back and remember that nous sommes tous Américains. We're all Americans. This op-ed keeps going on, and that's kind of the same thing that I said in my off-the-cuff speech that I just made a few minutes ago. The time is right for us to remember that we're all Americans, that we're not each other's enemies. There are people that want to call us each other's enemies, that they want to rally the others to be each other's enemies. They want to rally more to their cause because they think America is broken. Remember what the French newspaper said. We are all Americans, and we will pull through this together, one way or another. We will find the support of each other, and we will hold those responsible accountable. All right, let's get into the news now that we've had this little bit of a Debbie Downer of a beginning. Thank you for letting me make this speech and read a little bit from this. All right. Starting in with Newsweek, stimulus deal unlikely before Election Day as Senate Democrats block GOP's targeted relief. From Ramsey Touchberry. A scaled-down coronavirus stimulus offered by Senate Republicans was blocked on Thursday from advancing in the upper chamber thanks to Democrat opposition. The failed endeavor represented the partisan gridlock that's persisted for months, with few in Washington confident that an agreement to help the American people will be able to pass until the November election. When facing any great trial, one of the most important things for those put in positions of leadership to do is tell the people the truth about the challenge before us. No matter how hard it is to deliver the truth, Senator Marco Rubio said in a Twitter video, Congress is not going to pass another COVID relief bill before the election. Yes, because they're going to sit back and they're going to run on it. Senator Pat Roberts, holy shit, I just figured something out. Senator Pat Roberts labeled the relief efforts sort of a dead-end street. Republicans' roughly $500 billion economic proposal was defeated 52 to 47, failing to reach the required 60-vote threshold to proceed to a final vote. However, the GOP still praised the majority vote for having one Republican defector, Rand Paul, of Kentucky. 0 Democrats supported it. Democratic vice presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris was absent. Republicans have pushed to approach the partisan disagreements in a more piecemeal fashion to get at least something accomplished, a move that also allows them to coalesce their own members more easily around legislation. Following intra-party disagreements this summer, Democrats have said the GOP colleagues have been unwilling to return to the negotiating table to offer a significant package to adequately address the ongoing crisis. They can keep trying to make this abstract argument over leverage or an infinite set of things that aren't in the bill, or whether the White House Chief of Staff has been polite to them, or whatever new excuse they'll settle on today, Senate Majority Mitch McConnell said yesterday. All right, I'm going to put you guys on hold for just a second. Sorry about that. I'm sure that nobody wanted to watch me blow my nose there for a second, but that'll probably make me a little bit higher energy. So, looking back at this right now, it's looked like, and I figured this out while I was reading this. The Senate Democrats want to run on a bigger stimulus bill and giving away more free shit to the American people. They don't want to see the Senate or any other stimulus bill come out at this point, especially one that's got the GOP's name on it. It is time for them to sit back and say, oh, well, the GOP doesn't want you to get anything. Nancy Pelosi is holding the American people hostage again, and Chuck Schumer is doing her bidding at this point to try and make sure that they win both chambers of Congress coming up in November. All they want to do is sit back here and tell you, oh, no, we are the compassionate ones. We're the good people. We're gonna give you away everything on it. I figured this out as I was reading, and oh my God, this is a horrible thing. I can't believe that they're going to do that. But that's the only thing I can think of at this point. The American people are suffering. They need help. Now, I don't want the government to spend this kind of money, but I also have been able to go to work every single day. So, no. Fuck that, you guys. All they want, this is nothing but a power move. This is power and nothing but power. And they're going to continue to do this and fuck the American people until the American people put them back into power. And it's time the American people stood up and started realizing that. Alright, so that's what we're seeing up off of this here. Now, on the cross side of this, from the Daily Wire, BLM activists show up screaming at McConnell's home after Democrats block coronavirus funds. From Ryan Saavedra. Black Lives Matter protesters showed up at Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home on Thursday night, demanding money from coronavirus relief funds after Democrats killed a $500 billion coronavirus relief package. If we don't get 600, crowd, no peace. If we don't get 600, no peace. One of the activists with a bullhorn screamed. I said, if we don't get 600, no peace. You guys have the monopoly on rappers in the activist parties, and you can't come up with better chance than this? Come on, people. Let's get some video of this, because I have it. Which means I have to kill the one that's playing over in CBS 4. From Louisiana.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I need my money.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
I need that money, and until I get that money, I'm gonna be right here on C Street every day until I get it. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No health care.
No peace.
No health care.
No peace.
We living with you, Mitch. I hope you got enough room.
We living with you, Mitch. Hope you got enough room.
No peace.
No 600.
No peace.
If we don't get 600, I say 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 if we don't get 600,
You won't get no peace.
no peace, no 600, no peace, no 600,
No peace.
no 600, no peace, no health care,
No peace.
no.
You know, Ron brings up a great point over in the chat over there, and I saw that while I was getting ready to close this out and bringing the chat back over. And yeah, they're not demanding they open the economy back up. They want free shit. Just give us free shit. That's all that they want. Absolutely. So, and once again, they're going after the wrong person. I am sorry, but the president is not going to sign these pork-laden bills that the Democrats keep throwing through the House. He's not going to do it. Even if Mitch McConnell turns coat and rolls over for this fucking thing, he's not going to sign that. Because it's full of all kinds, without a line item veto, it's full of all kinds of stupid bullshit that isn't going to help the cause anywhere. This little stripped down bill, and like I said yesterday, for God's sakes, stop trying to do a big bill that goes for 6, 7, 8 months, a year at a fucking time. Do this 3 weeks, or a month, or 2 weeks, or something at a time. A little bit of spending at a time to get the economy open, not these just massive sweeping fucking bills. But we won't be able to go on our vacations if we only pass a couple weeks at a time. I don't care. You've locked the economy down, now fucking suffer with it. So, absolutely. And yes, they have no other chance other than no peace and Black Lives Matter. I hope you got room for us, Mitch. Fuck this. Alright. Well, speaking of more coronavirus news, South Carolina third grade teacher, 28, dies from COVID-19, from Jeffrey Collins over at the Associated Press. A South Carolina third grade teacher who was last in her classroom less than 2 weeks ago has died from COVID-19. Officials at the Richland 2 school district said on Wednesday. Demetria Demi Bannister, 28, was diagnosed with the virus on Friday and died Monday. School district spokeswoman Libby Roof said in a news release. Bannister was a third grade teacher starting her 5th year of teaching at Windsor Elementary School in Columbia. In Columbia. I almost said Columbus. She was at the school on August 28th during the week of teacher workdays before the school year began. She started teaching the following week from home, officials said. The district said it was tracing anyone who had close contact with Bannister and instructed custodians to deeply clean the school. No other teacher deaths have been reported in the state. Students in South Carolina have been returning to school over the past 3 weeks, with everyone required to be back by the day after Labor Day. Most districts are allowing students to attend classes in person at least 1 day a week. Richland 2 started the school year on August 31st with all virtual classes. South Carolina reported just 250 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, the lowest since June 3rd. But officials also reported a lower number of people tested, 1,744, which translates to a 14% positivity rate. That concerns health officials who say it indicates the virus is still spreading, especially through people who show no symptoms. I want to just read through this here. I'm kind of glancing through to see if there was any sort of comorbidity that was listed for this, because, I mean, this is anecdotal evidence right here. It happens, yes, and we understand the fact that it happens when somebody very young passes away from coronavirus. It does happen, but it is exceedingly rare for somebody under 30. But of course, now we get the headline up there and everyone can pass it around Twitter and say, "Oh, yeah, see, people under 30 are dying. See?" And of course, the Associated Press doesn't list any other comorbidity. I don't know anything else about this woman other than the fact that she was diagnosed on Monday and she was diagnosed on Friday and she was dead by Monday. And yet she's going to be a pawn for the agenda that they're trying to push out for this. So that'll be something to watch off of this. See if anything else pops up. I don't think it's going to. I think that they got the headline that they wanted and they're just going to keep moving on. Speaking of the coronavirus and some of the things we can do to upend it, Ivanka Trump tells Joy Behar she will take coronavirus vaccine on The View. From Brian Flood. Ivanka Trump said she would be happy to appear on The View to take the coronavirus vaccine after co-host Joy Behar said she wouldn't take it until the first daughter does. Behar previously poo-pooed the President Trump's recent claim that a coronavirus vaccine could be ready soon, but his oldest daughter is confident. He will push anything to get reelected. Don't fall for it, Behar said on Wednesday. And by the way, I will take the vaccine after Ivanka takes it. Ivanka took notice and offered a deal to the outspoken liberal. Deal, Joy V. Behar. I would come on your show to do so, Ivanka wrote. I trust the FDA, and so should all Americans. Vanquishing this virus should be our top collective priority. A View source told Fox News the show would welcome Ivanka and attempted to book her prior to the start of the current season. And this goes along with what Kamala said last week, and now Joy Behar is saying it too. We won't take it if Donald Trump is the one that put it out. We won't take the vaccine because evil orange man and evil this and evil that. When it's not Donald Trump in the laboratory mixing up strange chemicals to go out and make a virus. He's not the one in the lab. He's got top doctors doing this. He's getting the administrative state out of the way so that they can come out, do their jobs, and get this up and out to the American people. He's not the one making this. And yet, they're going to call it the Trump vaccine, and they're going to come out and say that we won't take it because, once again, this is going to be a political point because they want to use it in November for the vote. Hey, I got one for you. I don't care if Trump is the one that gets the government out of the way and gets the vaccine out, or Biden is the one that gets the government out of the way and gets the vaccine out. Guess fucking what? I'm not taking the fucking thing. There, it's non-political at that point. I don't care who puts it out. You've been fast-tracking something that's made people sick for a virus that I'm pretty sure I've already had and passed through with already. I don't need to take the fucking thing, and I'm not going to take it. It's not going to happen. You've already stuck me with too many needles as it is, so get the fuck over yourselves. If you're going to tout a vaccine, then use the fucking vaccine. It shouldn't matter who put it up. The FDA should be nonpartisan, but you've made everything partisan at this point. All right, let's keep going off of this one here. From 4WWL out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we can finally get rid of this autoplay that keeps going too, because I can hear it off of my headphones over here, even though it's probably not hitting the mic. Louisiana will move to phase 3 starting on Friday. Louisiana will move into phase 3 of the coronavirus recovery beginning Friday, September 11th, 6 months after the first case was reported in the state, Governor Edwards said on Thursday. This is the hardest decision I've had to make at this point, he said. Edwards said that moving to phase 3 does not lift all restrictions. He said he would lay out the particulars on Friday. We need people to do their part, and that's how we can be successful on striking the balance between public health on one hand and having our economy open on the other, he said. Edwards continues to encourage social distancing and hand washing. The mandate to wear masks out in public will continue. And me giving the finger to people who say that I'm mandated to wear a mask will also continue, even though I don't live in Louisiana. The fear is, or that I have, is that any time that you signal things have improved to move to the next phase, people will hear what you say, or what they want to hear instead of what they're being told, he said. We have to be extremely careful with this. While Edwards has not yet laid out all of what Phase 3 in Louisiana would entail, the White House Phase 3 recovery includes no limits on people returning to work, allows visitors to senior facilities, and includes limiting distancing at restaurants, movie theaters, stadiums, and churches. Bars have been closed statewide for nearly 7 weeks. Restaurants are struggling while operating at reduced capacity. Many private businesses are following the state's lead to fill offices, and nursing home residents are desperate for even outdoor visits to resume. We are optimistic. I think that a lot of our families have been very vocal with their elected officials, said Poydras Home CEO Aaron Kolb. Earlier this summer, Kolb sent a letter to the Department of Health begging for outdoor, strictly controlled visits behind plexiglass barrier. She argued that eliminating family visits for residents is now doing more harm than good. She's optimistic that Thursday may bring more good news. Our residents and our families are still very distressed and upset that they have to continue to be separated, she said. Our staff continues to do the best they can to engage with our residents individually and keep them connected through FaceTime, but it's just not the same. So, that's going to be good. That's good on Louisiana. So we'll have to reach out to Eric the Red and congratulate him for being in the state that's going to start opening up. Jesus, it's 79 in New Orleans right now. Fuck, I'm glad I'm not there. It's 51 here. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely great on Louisiana. Hope that they can get back to somewhat semblance of a normal life and people can get back to work and start getting that money back, getting their back rent paid, getting their back mortgage paid, and get back into the normal swing of life. I hope to see that. All right, now we've got one coming from my state, from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, archived, of course, because they're fascistic about their ad blocker. Wisconsin Supreme Court says mailing of absentee ballots should be halted while Green Party lawsuit is considered, from Patrick Marley. Full disclosure, I haven't read this yet, but I got a text message yesterday, and I was pretty pissed about it. I actually told the woman that texted me that that was voter intimidation. I was informed that the only way to be safe and secure this November is for me to mail my my absentee. They didn't say mail-in ballot, but to mail in my application for an absentee ballot, and it was going to be in my mailbox when I got home. And I got home, and it was in my mailbox. That's election intimidation. You can't tell me how I'm going to be safe through a text message after mailing something that I didn't request. So yes, that will be turned over to the Federal Elections Commission along with the text message. Copies of that. Copy of the application will also be turned over to my lawyer, but they're doing everything that they can right now to make sure that you don't trust the system and you go out and you do your mail-in vote. So, I've read the application front to back, and they've got the disclaimer, well, you can go out and vote in person, but I'll text you and tell you that you can't. But let's see what's actually going on in my state. The state Supreme Court told election officials Thursday that absentee ballots should not be mailed for now, so the justices can determine whether they should include the Green Party the Green Party's presidential ticket. I thought that was already on there. The 4-3 order left open the possibility of reprinting the 2.3 million ballots and delaying the printing of others, moves that election officials said would cause them to miss deadlines set by state law. The order fell along ideological lines with the conservatives in the majority and the liberals in the dissent. In response to the order, the State Elections Commission submitted a report late Thursday that suggested as many as 378,000 ballots have already been sent to voters. But the head of the commission said that there was no way to know for certain how many ballots have been sent because that duty falls to municipal clerks, not the commission. Asking candidates to the ballots after some have been sent would be complicated. Voters who have already been sent a ballot would need to go get a second one, and clerks would have to make sure no one voted twice. County officials expressed frustration with the court handling of the case near the deadline for sending ballots. Those concerns were noted in a spreadsheet they filled for the commission that was later provided for the court. We feel this is almost impossible at this point, Monroe County told the commission. Milwaukee County noted that it has 475 different ballots. If Milwaukee County is forced to stop printing and begin designing, testing, and printing out a new ballot, we will not be able to meet the state and federal deadlines, Milwaukee County reported. But you know what? People can still vote in person. I find this entertaining that the Green Party is the one that's challenging this. And the fact of the matter is the Democrats hate the left so much that they're going to leave the Green Party out in my state. Now, yes, if the Green Party has ballot access in Wisconsin, then absolutely they should be on the absentee ballot too. So yes, if they have the ballot access, then the court was decided in the right way, and they need to start pulling these absentee ballots. They're trying to change the technology at the last minute, and it is fucking them over and over and over again. And they don't understand why. They didn't test this. The time to do the absentee switch, if they really needed to do it or try to switch to mail-in voting, would have been the day after the election in 2018. But now they're trying to pull all this shit together and figure it out at the last minute, and it's biting them in the ass. And yes, I don't even know who's running on the Green Party ticket right now, but whoever it is should absolutely... Is it Hippie Grandma again? Whoever it is absolutely should be suing the fuck out of Wisconsin to make sure that they get ballot access in all forms of the ballot. Absolutely. Because you're showing the weakness in this system that we all knew was weak to start. Alright, let's keep going. I'm going to keep that because my co-host is a third-party comms director, and I think she's going to find that very interesting. I'm actually going to send that to her after this. Going on to the New York Post, though. Trump hits Biden's record on jobs. I had a packed Michigan rally from Ebony Bowden. President Trump tore apart Joe Biden's job creation record at a raucous rally in the key battleground state of Michigan on Thursday evening, calling the former Veep a Washington vulture. If Biden's elected, China will own America. Washington vultures like Biden and others ripped apart entire towns all across your state, Trump told a crowd of supporters at an overflowing airport hangar in Freeland, Michigan. Michigan lost half of all the manufacturing jobs after the trade deals that Biden supported, the president continued during a 90-minute address. Trump won the state by a razor-thin margin of 10,704 votes in 2016 in a huge upset over Hillary Clinton and is hoping for a more resounding victory in the must-win Wolverine state this November. Once a thriving hub of automobile manufacturing, Michigan has lost hundreds of thousands of jobs, due in part to free trade deals such as NAFTA and China's entrance to the World Trade Organization, both deals supported by Biden. No president has been better for Michigan. Remember that. And I'm going to remember Michigan, Trump said to the cheers of 4 more years. He rallied against the horrible damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years and claimed that the Obama-Biden administration nearly killed the U.S. auto industry. That, I'm going to say, is true. Joe Biden supported this disastrous Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a death sentence for the American auto jobs. I withdrew from the TPP in my first week of office. That was so easy. You wouldn't have been making cars. You would have been buying cars from foreign lands. We've had enough of that, he continued. Trump's visit to the Rust Belt state came on the heels of his opponent's swing through Michigan on Wednesday. The Real Clear Politics polling average has Biden ahead by 4.2 percentage points, but that is half of the 8.4-point advantage he held over Trump in early June. Surrounded by Ford trucks and American flags in Detroit on Wednesday, Biden's Made in America platform appeared to be straight out of Trump's playbook. The former Veep said he would impose a 10% penalty for offshoring jobs and hit Trump for failing to live up to his promises of creating U.S. manufacturing jobs. Really? Because if I remember correctly, they were all over the fucking place. Nearly 20,000 auto manufacturing jobs have been lost in Michigan under Trump. Nearly 80,000 were created during the Obama-Biden administration. Yeah, I'm going to need a fact check on that one. Biden said before the pandemic, Trump was creating an average of 500,000 jobs fewer per year than in the last 3 years when President Obama and I were in office. Really? So where did all the unemployment reduction come from? And we were also at the very, very bottom of the economy during the last 3 years of the Obama-Biden administration. So people were actually either needing to go to work or go the fuck hungry. Keep that in mind as well. People were taking any job that they could get, sweeping up behind a grocery store, taking out trash at an auto dealership. Anything that they could get their hands on, they were taking. From what I've seen, the quality of the jobs under Trump have been better. But that's just in my little Rust Belt statement of myself, of my own rather. So, yeah, I'm going to need a fact check on that one for Biden. But that's what we saw up out of here. Let's keep going. From ABC News, court halts Trump's administration attempt to exclude undocumented immigrants from the census, from Quinn Owen. President Donald Trump's attempt to exclude unauthorized immigrants from the census count violated the law, a federal court in New York ruled on Thursday. The three-judge panel determined that the Secretary of Commerce, who oversees the Census Bureau, could not leave out people living in the country illegally from population totals used to determine congressional seats. Why? Now, I understand leaving them on the census because I want to make sure that every civil engineer knows how many people are going to be using their facilities and what the trends are for their facilities, so they don't have a massive sewer backup in 5 years. I understand getting them on the census so we can see, hey, there's going to be this many people that need this much water. There's going to be this many people driving over this road. I understand that, but for congressional representation, fuck you. Go through the process if you want representation. The presidential memorandum violates the statute governing apportionment because so long as they reside in the United States, illegal aliens qualify as persons in a state, the judges wrote. Legal challenges were brought by a group of Democrat-led state attorneys general and a coalition of immigrants' rights groups led by the American Civil Liberties Union, which described the order as a xenophobic effort to deny the basic humanity of undocumented immigrants. Lawyers for the groups said the directive openly and obviously violated the Constitution. This is a huge victory for voting rights and immigrants' rights, said ACLU attorney Dale Ho, who argued the case. President Trump has tried and failed yet again to weaponize the census against immigrant communities. The decision comes amid a fundamental debate over whether the census can be conducted accurately given the delays caused by the coronavirus health crisis. Last week, a federal judge in California temporarily barred the Trump administration from winding down census operations in a case that challenged the decision to cut the count a month shorter than the originally planned to accommodate for delays caused by the pandemic. What delays? How can there be a delay? The form is up on my table because I haven't filled the fucking thing out yet. That's probably part of the delay. But it's one page, front and back. Where's the delay? Anything we can do to sue the Trump administration? Critics of the administration are concerned the decision to adhere to a shorter deadline will result in undercounting low-income and rural communities that are typically harder for census workers to reach. Not to mention libertarian communities that don't want to fill the fucking thing out. The Gila River Indian community near Phoenix and the Navajo Nation both joined the lawsuit against the administration to preserve the deadline extension. It is not an exaggeration to say an accurate census can be a matter of life or death in tribal communities because the programs impacted by census count affect delivery of healthcare, public safety, our youth and elder programs, housing, violence against women, grants, and other programs that sustain our tribal community. Stephen Rowe Lewis, governor of the Gila River community, told the House Oversight Committee on Thursday. In the same hearing, John Thompson, who ran the Census Bureau from 2013 to 2017, told the committee that the agency needs more time to collect data from hard-to-reach localities. Census experts have warned that if the Bureau is forced to conclude counting too quickly, it will result in a count that cannot be certified as accurate. The census has never been accurate. Too many small L people out there won't fill it out because they hate the government that much. The census has never been accurate. Never mind the fact that there are undocumented immigrants in this country that think that if they fill this out, they'll get caught and they'll get rounded up and sent back over the border. If you think the census has ever been accurate, I got a bridge to sell you. Or some oceanfront property in Arizona. Let's go with that one because I'm more country than fucking city. So, yeah. And why? Why in God's name do we need to have representation for the illegals? I don't understand that. Unless you want to sway a vote or do some gerrymandering that way. Or make sure that California holds on to all 55 of its congressional seats. All right, let's keep going off of this one. From BGR. Who put this in the Discord? Somebody put this up in the Discord, and I can't remember who. Google is changing how search works ahead of Election Day 2020. Long a favorite target of right-wing critics who accuse the search giant of tilting the playing field by controlling the information that surfaced in search results, Google on Thursday announced a big change to Google Search that's meant to counteract bad information online, but which could open up the company to more cries of putting its thumb on the scales. What Google has decided to do ahead of the November presidential election, the company explains, is block the autocomplete feature of Google Search from the automatic suggestions you might get if you start typing search queries that have some sort of tie to the election. You can actually try this yourself now to see if it's in action. If you start typing either Donald Trump is or Joe Biden is, then you should get some pretty benign autocomplete suggestions. That's the idea here. We expanded our autocomplete policies related to elections, and we will remove predictions that could be interpreted as claims for or against any candidate or political party. Google fellow and vice president for Search Pandu Nayak wrote in a company blog post. We will also remove predictions that could be interpreted as a claim about participation in the election, like statements about voting methods, requirements, or the status of voting locations, or the integrity or legitimacy of the electoral process, such as the security of the election. What this means in practice is that predictions like you can vote by phone as well as you can't vote by phone, or a prediction that says donate to any party or candidate, should not appear in autocomplete. Whether or not a prediction appears, you can still search for whatever you like and find results. Seems pretty benign, but I don't trust Google as far as I can throw them, and given the fact that they are an inanimate object, or not an inanimate object, but a collection of ideas across various places, across the network of the world, I can't really throw them that far. So, they are intangible. And there are people behind them too, people that I don't trust. So, this is going to be something to watch for, and maybe it's time to just stop using Google entirely. I mean, I know I use Chrome. I can't really say that I don't, but maybe it may be time to go start using Brave or Opera or something else like that. So, something to watch for as we go up into November. I'm going to take some time and answer a quick question over on here because Miami's up here. Miami, that depends on where you're going in Wisconsin. In Rock County, they don't care. I'd carry it with you just in case, but they don't care as far as I know in Rock County. In other places, they do. And if you're going to go to some big retailer, forget it. But most places don't care. Like I said, carry it with you just in case. Let's keep going here. From Fox News, Graham hits and release of more bombshell information related to Russia probe. Stay tuned. From Yale Halon. Justice Department documents show the cell phones of multiple people on then Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigative team were wiped during the Russia probe, expose a pretty obvious double standard. Expose a pretty obvious double standard, Senator Lindsey Graham told Hannity on Thursday. "We cannot live in a country where this is tolerated," said Graham, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. "Trump, Russia, look at how much money they spent, how many agents were involved in investigating all things Trump and Russia, how many subpoenas issued, how many lives turned upside down." According to the documents, at least several dozen phones were wiped of information because of forgotten passcodes, irreparable screen damage, loss of the device, intentional deletion, or other reasons. The data removal took place before the DOJ's Office of Inspector General could review these devices. If you can't manage your own phone, why should we trust you to investigate a crime? Asked Graham, who later added, the question is, did they obstruct justice? Did they intentionally delete information from their phone because Inspector General Michael Horowitz was on the case? That's the question for John Durham. My job as chairman of the Judiciary Committee is to find how the Department of Justice and the FBI got Crossfire Hurricane so wrong, why they lied to the FISA court, and to make sure it never happens again. You think you're mad about the phones being wiped? Stay tuned, Graham told host Sean Hannity. We'll talk in about 10 or 12 days and we'll see if there's something else you can get mad about. Graham later revealed that the Senate Judiciary Committee recently invited former FBI Director James Comey, the former FBI official Peter Strzok, and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe to testify on their involvement in Crossfire Hurricane after Comey spoke dismissively of Durham's investigation into the origins of the probe. I made an invitation to Comey, McCabe, and Strzok to come before the committee. They will be respectfully treated to answer the questions about the Horowitz report, Graham said. So I can actually probably drop this New York Post article because it said the same thing. I didn't think that they said the same thing, and I didn't read them in before I got down off of this. But yeah, they're wiping out phones. What, with a cloth? They're wiping out phones in the investigation, getting information off of them. I would love to see that information. I would love to see that information. Absolutely. But now it'll never be retrievable. Broken screens. After Hillary's campaign smashed phones with a hammer. Forgotten passcodes. No, that's bullshit. No, that's bullshit. We're seeing some shady shit off of this, and I mean, nobody's talked about this in mainstream news other than Fox and New York Post. I mean, you're not going to see something like this over on the CNN or an MSNBC. Well, you're not going to see it on MSNBC anyway because, what, tax returns? But yeah, this is, I mean, it is a double standard. 100%. And if this was somebody in the Trump administration doing the same thing, every network would be screaming this from the high heavens. They've got something to hide. So, yeah, that's what we saw up off of this one here. We bought ourselves a little bit of time by losing an article off of this, but let's keep going. Another one from Fox then. Schiff reveals new whistleblower complaint alleging suppression of Russian election interference, Intel reports. From Brooks Singman. Guys, they're going to do Russia again. They're going to do it again. The House Intelligence Committee received a whistleblower complaint claiming Trump administration officials at the White House and the Department of Homeland Security suppressed intelligence reports related to Russian election interference, Democratic Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said on Wednesday. In a statement, Schiff said former intelligence analysis acting under Secretary Brian Murphy filed the whistleblower reprisal complaint on Tuesday with the DHS Office of Inspector General. We've received a whistleblower complaint alleging the DHS suppressed intel reports on the Russian election interference, altered intel to match false Trump claims, and made false statements to Congress, Schiff tweeted Wednesday afternoon. This puts our national security at risk, he added. We will investigate. 2 months before an election, when you had 4 fucking years to blow the whistle. What were you waiting for? I mean, when Erica Marshmallow showed up on the scene, you would have thought that if there were more of these, then they would just keep dumping out and pouring out and pouring out. But no. Now you're 2 months before an election, your polls are tightening, and you've got to find something. This is a fucking Hail Mary. A spokesman for DHS fired back on Wednesday. The department generally does not comment on the specifics of OIG referrals. But we flatly deny that there's any truth to the merits of Mr. Murphy's claim, the spokesman, Alexei Woltornist, said. DHS looks forward to the results of any resulting investigation, and we expect it will conclude that no retaliatory action was taken against Mr. Murphy. Schiff said the investigation will come as part of the panel's probe into alleged grave misconduct by White House and DHS officials, and the reprisal against Murphy for making protected disclosures. The whistleblower retaliation complaint filed by former acting Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis Brian Murphy outlines grave and disturbing allegations that the senior White House and Department of Homeland Security officials improperly sought to politicize, manipulate, and censor intelligence in order to benefit President Trump politically, Schiff said in a statement. This puts our nation and its security at grave risk. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. Can we get another impeachment before the beginning or before the election day? Because, oh my God, I want to see it. Let's actually get another impeachment vote. I want to see it. I want to see them go through the investigation, spend millions of dollars, and get their asses handed to them once again. But of course, now at this point, they'll get it over to the House of Representatives. They'll refuse to send the articles over. And then they will do everything they can to try and hold the vote out until after the election day. Because once again, they're going to use this as an election tool. Vote for the Senate or they might acquit Trump again. Oh, this is getting spicy, guys. All right, I've got one here from the Gateway Pundit. New book reveals General Mad Dog Mattis discussed secret military coup against President Trump while serving in his White House. Ah, the Gateway Pundit's so hard to read. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to find this on another source, so we'll skip this one. So let's go into the other big thing that goes along with the news from this. From Matt Schaefer. I've asked Texas Attorney General Paxton's office to investigate the Netflix film Cuties for possible violations of child exploitation and child pornography laws. Cuties, hashtag Texas LEGE. So, because of this, and we'll go and see what's going on with that and what that means. So, from the Daily Wire, Walsh. Child sexualizing Cuties movie on Netflix is even worse than we thought. It's time to cancel Netflix. From Matt Walsh. Several weeks ago, Netflix began promoting a new film from French director Maimouna Dacour called Cuties. The poster, featuring scantily clad children posing suggestively, caused well-deserved outrage. The Sundance Film Festival, which honored the film with the directing award, provided a synopsis that didn't do much to quell the anger. According to Sundance, Cuties tells the story of an 11-year-old girl named Amy, who, through an ignited awareness of her burgeoning femininity, propels the group to enthusiastically embrace an increasingly sensual dance routine, sparking the girls' hope to twerk their way to stardom at a local dance contest. It is perhaps worth mentioning that Sundance was co-founded by a man who is now in prison for child sex abuse. The film's official description from Netflix was only slightly less grotesque sounding. Amy becomes fascinated with the twerking dance crew. Hoping to join them, she starts to explore her femininity, defying her family's traditions. After the backlash, Netflix apologized, not for the film itself, but simply for the inappropriate artwork. The streaming service also changed the synopsis, getting rid of any mention of twerking and instead calling it a free-spirited dance crew. Netflix did not bother to explain why they used that inappropriate artwork in their promotional materials in the first place, if it doesn't actually reflect the content of the film, and if they're not trying to attract an audience of pedophiles who wish to see pubescent girls gyrate on camera. Then what was the thought process behind the way it was originally marketed? We were never told. The website Bustle said the poster was simply botched. Well, I can understand botching a poster with a typo or some error due to carelessness, but how do you botch something by accidentally turning it into a softcore child porn? Many other media outlets rushed to the defense of the twerking children's movie. An article by Anna Menta of The Decider, scolded by the film's distractors, basically linked the criticism to the QAnon conspiracy theory and insisted that we are detractors owed the director an apology. So this is going to go off of this, and Matt Walsh is very long-winded, so I'm not going to read the whole thing to get down into his point. But the point is that just from some of the leaked scenes that I've seen going around Twitter and everywhere else, this movie was actually a lot worse than we thought it was going to be. It was a lot worse than we thought it would be. Now, as far as the Texas legislature goes, I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything about this because it is a foreign film. It was filmed in France. So therefore, that may fall outside the bounds of U.S. jurisdiction. Interpol maybe could get involved, but I don't know if anything else could go beyond that. As far as the distribution, I mean, there's some pretty raucous stuff out there already. I don't know if Netflix would fall would take anything from this. I know a lot of people are canceling Netflix for it, and there's a change.org petition going around for it. I haven't canceled my Netflix yet, but I also haven't gone back and watched it for a little while either. So I've not seen this movie. I'm coming to it from a point of ignorance. Maybe there is a deeper artistic meaning and the meaning of social media and what social media means to young girls and what it causes them to do. Maybe there is. I don't speak French. I've never seen the movie and I haven't read the subtitles. I don't know. From what I'm saying, from what I'm hearing from other people, that's not the case. But I will come to this from a place of ignorance. But from what I hear, it's bad. So, that's what we're seeing up off of this one here. Love to hear your thoughts on whether or not you are keeping your Netflix or canceling it at this point. All right, let's do a couple more here, and then we'll read the names of everybody that chatted. From NBC Sports, Bubba Wallace not returning to RPM after this season, from Dustin Long. Bubba Wallace will not return to Richard Petty Motorsports after the season, the team confirmed on Thursday. The team issued a statement on Thursday as well. Earlier this morning, Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. Informed Richard Petty Motorsports that he will not be returning for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. We will complete the season with Wallace behind the wheel of the number 43 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE. We look forward to the next chapter on the making of the iconic number 43 team. We will announce our new driver in the near future. Wallace posted a statement on social media saying, "This was not an easy decision, as I have nothing but the utmost respect for Richard Petty and his family. But I believe it's time for someone else to take over the reins on the number 43. We've got 9 more races together. I hope we can finish the 2020 season on a high note." The news was first reported by The Athletic. The 26-year-old Wallace is the only black driver competing full-time in NASCAR's Premier Series. Wallace is in his 3rd season at Richard Petty Motorsports. He has been active in helping lead NASCAR through social changes, including the banning of the Confederate flag at series events and tracks. Wallace stated on August 9th that he had contract offers from RPM and Chip Ganassi Racing. Wallace has an ownership stake in Richard Petty Motorsports. Wallace has made 103 career Cup starts and has 9 career top 10s. His best finish this season is 5th at the Daytona Oval in August. He finished a career-high 2nd in the 2018 Daytona 500. So, from what I understand, he kind of sucks as a driver. I mean, everybody's going to get a good finish every once in a while. Otherwise, they are going to wind up being cut from their teams. So, yes, that 2nd place finish is, it's great for him. And congratulations on the 2nd place finish. Absolutely. That's a hard race to run. But I do have to wonder if it was just Wallace that was retiring, or if there is increased tensions after the stunt that he tried to pull. We don't know. The statements that I just read here are all that we're going to have, and that's all that we have off of this, so we don't know for sure. I do hope the best for Wallace. I hope that he doesn't find any more nooses in his garage, or any more pull ropes for that matter. But, yeah. I don't watch NASCAR anymore, so I don't really have a stake in this. All right, last one. And then we'll read the names of everybody that chatted in the live chat. From the Daily Wire, Clinton Air economist accuses Musk of shorting Tesla workers, cites stock performance. Musk responds, from Eric Quintanar. This was actually kind of funny. I saw this happen yesterday. Tesla CEO Elon Musk exchanged jabs with economist Richard Reich, the former Secretary of Labor under President Bill Clinton, after the left-leaning professor accused him of shorting his workers as a modern-day robber baron. Tesla forced all workers to take a 10% pay cut from mid-April until July. In the same period, Tesla stock skyrocketed and CEO Elon Musk's net worth quadrupled from $25 billion to over $100 billion. Musk is a modern-day robber baron, tweeted Reich. 2 days later, Musk finally responded, "All Tesla workers also get stock in their compensation increase proportionately. You are a modern-day moron." The Tesla CEO's quip comes as the company experienced a significant decline in the value of stock, having dropped over 33% on Wednesday since its record of $498.32 price per share the weekend before, according to MarketWatch. The stock sell-off kicked off last Tuesday after the electric vehicle maker disclosed a $5 billion stock offering and a large shareholder reduced its stake. Reported MarketWatch on Friday, the stock had plunged as much as 8.6% intraday before pulling a sharp U-turn up to close to 2.8% to snap a 3-day losing streak after the company disclosed stock trades by a number of insiders. According to the Wall Street Journal, Tesla was recently believed to be close to securing a spot in the S&P 500 index, but the company was passed up earlier this week for unclear reasons, prompting widespread speculation and opining about the decision. So yes, of course, everybody on the left hates Elon Musk at this point because he's an entrepreneur and he doesn't want to pay the taxes, and he realizes. And he was a big lefty guy to begin with, but he left the left. He said the left left him. And now they hate him for it, and they're going to do anything to demonize him and make sure that you don't go out and buy that Tesla and make him richer. Yes, he cut their salaries by 10%. Yeah, but he upped their stock options as a result. So, yeah. That's great on Elon Musk. All right, that's all that I have. That's the end of it. So, the last thing that we do is read the names of everybody who chatted in the live chat throughout the week. If I can get my tongue to work today, because man, oh man, am I tripping over words today. But let's go ahead and start with Friday here and say thank you to everybody. So I'm going to start from the top, and if you want to get another message in, if you're just lurking right now and you want to get your name read, now is going to be the time to do it. Wow, you guys were active today. We've got Iyama Fago, Ron Helton, Sully Blue. How we doing, guys? Thanks for coming in and stopping by. Yama was in geography class in 6th grade when he found out. Sully joined the Marines because of 9/11. The gorilla was the first domino falling. Second hit was while I was on the bus. Really? Was it that late? Because I was already in school, and it's an hour earlier here. I was between, I guess the first plane hit when I was in first period class, and the second plane hit when I was in homeroom. And it's an hour earlier here, so I'd be surprised. I'm surprised that you were on the bus. I don't doubt it, because, I mean, that imprints on your memory, but as a matter of fact, Yama was at the recruiting office. Oh, nice. Let's see, who else do we have? Miami 1984, which I knew he was here because he's coming up to my state. Unfortunately, no, I can't go to Appleton tonight because I work tonight and I work in the morning. Plus, I've got to make some phone calls as soon as I get off the camera here. Let's see, who else do we have here? I think it's just 3 of you guys today. And John. Is that an anti-vaxxer now like Steven? No, I just don't want to take that one. I wonder how the ratings were for the Chiefs game last night. I don't know. I don't care. The NFL's done for me. AstraZeneca. Sticker party. I got Ron Helton over on the YouTube too. McOuches5744. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com. No! What are we missing the last 4 of? Trying to keep my record. Oh, the censuses. Gonna hit up Woodman's and Menominee Falls on the way. Yeah, that's a ways away from where I live. But Woodman's is a good place. But they will require, they do have a company mask requirement out above and beyond the states, by the way. I saw the scenes of girls dancing. Oh, Yama. Oh yeah, read my name, Daddy. Haha. Oh, you were in Oregon. Okay, that's why. Back in 01. Okay. So yeah, that would have been before. I thought you were still in Orlando at the time. I'm sorry. Just returned from a month vacation to Mexico about 2 weeks before the 9/11 attacks. Was in my computer room watching Regis. Alright. Well, that's what we have for the day. Let's see what we have for the week. Starting on Monday. We had Seawall in here on Monday, Ron Helton, Sully Blue. Michael Vega showed up. He doesn't do a lot of morning shows, but he showed up for a bit. Miami 1984 was here on Monday, and we had a Captain Ultra Dark, which was a new name in here. Thanks for coming in. On Tuesday, we had Sully Blue, we had Yamafago, we had Alex Kai, and Miami 1984. On Wednesday, we had Sully Blue, we had Yamafago, Miami 1984, Ron Helton and Baby Lebowski showed up. And yesterday, we had Sully and Unsatiable 1776 came back by. He's been not missing for a little while, but he got back in. He joined in my game stream last night too. You guys had a little bit of fun with him as well. I was kind of enjoying watching that and reading back after the fact on that one. And then we had Weston 21 or 2K rather 2121, and that was everybody. So I have got to make the phone call and get my Podbean account unlocked because I switched my credit cards and I didn't contact them. I'm trying to catch up with all my auto payments again right now, so I've got to get in contact with them because they just locked my account this morning, so I can get caught back up with the audio platform. Or you can go check us out. Otherwise, you can check us back out live or on demand on YouTube and over on BitChute.com. Be with us tomorrow at 5:30 Central Time p.m. as I sit down with John from the Generational Gap and Stephen Ignoramus, and we will talk about Senate Bill 145 out of California, aptly named the Pedo Bill, and talk about what actually happened there, what our thoughts on it, and why this should not go forward. Or join us back here on Monday for more contemporary and the Red and Ed Show. We look forward to seeing you tonight and getting more opinions on the news articles that I've rounded up for the week. So looking forward to see you there as well. And we will see you next time. Thanks again for stopping by, everybody. Thanks for chatting in the live chat, keeping everything honest, and we'll see you next week or this weekend. Take care, everyone. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary.